I'm Rajeshri Venkatramanan. Now I'm reading 80 words English Shorthand dictation. Each dictation you should practice 3 or 4 times and transcribe into English. That is also most important. Okay. A fairly large proportion of students who write speed dictation regularly do not have the patience to transcribe or read it. I have written it perfectly. I can read it easily. Complacency is fatal. Overconfidence is as dangerous as lack of confidence or nervousness. However, sure, the student is of having taken the passage down, he should transcribe it every time or at least read it, marking the doubtful outlines. He should approach his task in humility, remembering that, like water, knowledge flow down and not up. A sad feature of present day shorthand writing is the failure on the part of the writers to follow up. The moment a writer secures a job, he leaves off regular intensive practice and is content with the practice he gets in the course of his office work. A steady job kills his ambition to reach higher speed. Cases are not infrequent where placed in a position which does not at all call for stenographic skill, the writer rests and almost completely neglects his shorthand. In his own interest, the writer should devote a certain amount of time daily in intensive practice. He should take at least 2 mark dictations per day from a friend or colleague and methodically transcribe them, increasing the dictation speed progressively. It is the experience of those who have been connected with the conduct of competitive shorthand speed tests that writers who have been in steady jobs for a long time prove comparative failures in such tests. This in spite of excellent service records as stenographers. The only explanation could be that having secured a job, they sit and never trouble to keep in him. They forget that shorthand is as exciting as a nagging wife and will not brook neglect. A word about phrasograms. Students should guard themselves against the temptation of too frequent resort to phrasograms. Every day, a certain amount of time should be reserved for the practice of phrasogram and contractions. During that time, these should be so thoroughly mastered that they should come to the mind and on the notebook automatically without any conscious effort. When taking dictation, the junior writer should not attempt to improvise phrasograms, for once the habit is formed, the tendency at every opportunity to save them to phrases grammalogs is bound to be fatal. When a phrasogram does not come off, the mind is distracted from the dictation. Failure to bring off an extempore phrasogram during a speed dictation has often the writer not only the words involved in the phraseogram but the whole sentence, because once concentration is disturbed, it becomes almost impossible for some time to resume the thread and follow the dictation, however hard the writer tries to do so. Therefore, one should guard against attempts to construct extempore phraseograms during speed writing. Systematized phraseogram practice helps the student to memorize not only the particular phraseogram but the principle underlying it, with the result that as the practice progresses, the capacity of extemporized phraseogram grows and helps the writer in his attempts to reach higher speed ranges. A common weakness among shorthand writers is to go off the rails when they come across an unfamiliar word or when they fail to hear a word or an expression. One day I was watching a friend dictate a passage to about 20 writers. Okay,